Yeah, this is one of those situations where you think you have everything under control, and yeah, everything's going your way, but eventually when it hits the fan, oh yeah, it's a whole new ball game. Back then, when I was a beginner hunter, well, I wouldn't say beginner hunter. My dad taught me a lot of stuff when I started getting into like hunting and camping, and doing all the outdoor stuff. So yeah, he taught us well. He taught us a lot of stuff, and I known these things, and I kept them, and I practiced them a lot. So that year, me, my dad, my brothers, and my uncle, we were the hunting party of that year. And the plan was, since I was one of the younger hunters, they were gonna drop me off on this side of the mountain, and they were gonna take the rest of the folks to the other side of the mountain, which is gonna be, I'd say about 20-30 minutes drive, 15-20 minutes drive from where I was at to where they were going. And the plan was, since I'm the younger guy, yeah, they're gonna drop me off there. I'll sit in my tree stand with my bow, and hopefully something comes my way. If I get something, and good. The thing was, when they're done with the hunt, they were supposed to pick the other guys up and pick them up in order, and I'll be the last one picked up. So I was like, okay, that's cool. I like that plan anyways. Since I was gonna be the first one there, I had more time into the hunt. So yeah, I liked that plan. We got there around 10 something. I know it's like around something there. So yeah, they dropped me off. So my dad said, all right, son, this is the spot. So you know where the tree stand is. You go get yourself ready. If anything's wrong or anything happens, don't go anywhere. Don't do anything. We'll come back and pick you up around 6. So I looked at my time. Yeah, okay, yeah, plenty of time. What, 10, 11, 12? About a good 8 hours of sitting in a tree stand. I picked up my stuff, my tree stand, my bow, my backpack, and started heading up the trail to where the tree stand is. Once I got to the tree stand, yeah, I hooked the tree stand up, went up the tree, set myself up, and the location of my tree stand was actually on the side of the mountain, and then in between me was a deep valley, and I could see another side of the mountain right across from me. So I was like actually on the side of the valley, and where I was sitting to where the other side of the mountain was at, I ranged it, and it was about 246, 48, 200, I would say about 300 yards. So yeah, I had a good view of the terrain. I had a good view of everything. It was a good tree stand. And yeah, it was a pretty day. And as soon as it hit noon, yeah, it was starting to get hot, so I was kind of getting baked. So yeah, I took off my thick stuff, because when we went there in the morning, I wore a lot of stuff like hoodies and things like that. So I decided to strip down because it's the hot part of the day. When I was sitting there, I didn't thought of even anything. I was like, man, I was just hoping something comes my way so I could see where I was at. There was a lot of trails. Deer trails, bear trails, yeah, you name it. It was like a hot trails everywhere. Well, I sat there and watched that trail, had lunch. As I was there, I was ranging tree trunk, tree stumps, rocks, boulders, anything I can use as reference in case any game comes that way. I know exactly how far they are from me. Anyways, noon passed, and I still haven't seen anything come my way. Well, roll around 5 o'clock. I heard from the valley on my left a huge crack, like a log crack, and branches breaking. And automatically, I knew, oh, that's a bear, because there's nothing in this forest that'll be that big to make that kind of noise. As I sat there and listened, it kind of got louder and louder, so I know, like, okay, it's coming from the deep valley, and it's eventually going up. It's either my side of the mountain or the other side of the mountain. So I kept a good close watch on that. Branches kept breaking, logs keep cracking, and I'm like, oh yeah, it's coming up. I just don't know which side. And then from the corner of my eyes, I glanced across to the ridge, and I noticed, oh yeah, something dark over there. So I looked in between the branches and the tree, and yeah, sure enough, it was a black bear. So I was like, oh, okay, well, it's about 300 yards away, so yeah, I'll just keep an eye on it. It's not coming my way, so eventually I probably won't even get the chance to see how big it is or shoot it. So I was like, yeah, I'll watch it. So as I sat there, slowly watching it make its way up the ridge, it was searching for food, because he was digging logs, breaking branches, doing what black bear normally do. And where I was sitting, my elevation is a little bit higher from when I was looking at him. And as he slowly creeped up the ridge, he kind of got level with me. When he got level with me, he stopped and he looked up, looked around. And I was like, oh, well, that's strange. Maybe he found something real good there. Yeah, so he tucked his head back down, scratched the ground, dig stuff like he normally would. But once in a while he would sniff, raise his nose up and sniff like he's looking around. I kept watching him, and then he continued going up the ridge. So I watched and watched and watched. And right in front of him where I was at, there was a whole bunch of trees there. So he kind of walked into the trees where I couldn't see him anymore. So I was like, okay, well, if I can't see him, let me see if I can hear him. So I sat there and tried to listen to him, and I couldn't hear of anything. So I was like, well, maybe this is it. He made his way over the ridge. This is probably the last time I want to see him. So yeah, I just sat down like, okay, well, there goes the bear. So yeah, I sat, and as I was sitting there, it took no more than 5 minutes. Popped right out of the edge of the ridge where I was sitting at. It was this huge black bear. I mean, it was huge. All I see was a white nose, and that automatically like, wow, And I felt chills from the top of my head to my foot. And here I am sitting on a tree stand, and this huge thing is walking my way. It didn't see me yet. It was like had its head on the ground sniffing, and it was about I'd say about maybe 18 yards. And when it got to like I'd say about 12 yards, it kept looking down, and as soon as it got to that 12 yard, it looked just straight up at me. And man, when he looked straight up at me, dude, I felt chills all over my body. I'm like, oh, damn, this thing is huge. And here I am sitting on my tree stand, like, oh crap. My bow's in front of me. I'm sitting on a tree stand. He's 12 yard. It looked huge, massive. Now it spot me and looking straight at me in my eyes. I was like, all right, what am I gonna do? Slowly get up, or should I scare it, or what, man? My heart was pounding, and I'm like, man, this is it. I gotta do something. And it looked at me like it was trying to figure out who I was, because I didn't move. At that time, I froze, and I was like, man, I can't shoot it. There's no way I'm gonna draw my bows, and I gotta draw, and I gotta stand up doing it. So it looked at me. I was still looking at it. So I'm like, all right, this is it. So I slowly pushed myself off my tree stand, and it just kept looking at me, and I'm like, all right, so here I go. I decided, okay, well, I'm gonna draw. So as soon as I draw, you notice that I moved as I was doing that, and then I got to a full draw, and all I noticed that all my pins were on him, so he's definitely hella close. And I was like, okay, where am I gonna shoot? So as soon as I thought about that, he dashed to my left and vanished into the trees. My heart was pumping. I was like, oh gosh, man, I should have shot it, but I don't want to miss. I don't want to lose an arrow. And I was like, well, maybe let me listen to it, see where it is. And I thought it was gone, but as I was listening, I heard like cracks, like rustle, ground movement behind me, and it was like, oh shoot, okay. it must be, black bears, they're curious and they want to know what things are, and they're always nosy and naughty. And I never thought of it until it hit me like, no, this thing is like circling me. And I was listening to it, and I was like, oh, he's behind me, but I can't shoot him. And yeah, he moved behind me, to my left, to my right. He'll make like little breathing noise, like like that. And I would like listen to it. Oh, he's on my right, to my back right. Later on, he's like, oh, he's to my back left. Oh, he's behind me. And all that time, I was looking back, and I couldn't see him because all the trees were in the way, and all the branches and things, and it was like getting dark, so I couldn't see. And I know it's like, oh man, I can't shoot. If the sun goes down anymore, I can't shoot. So yeah, it kept doing that, and I wasn't scared until I was thinking like, oh my gosh, man, this thing is not gonna leave me. So my head was running at 100 miles an hour. My heart was pumping. I was like, all right, what do I have? What do I have in my backpack? So I was like, yeah, got my bow, got my broadheads, got my arrows. Only 5 arrows. I have my flashlight. I have my survival kit, match. And when you're hunting in California in archery season, the law says you cannot carry any firearms, not even a sidearm. So yeah, there goes that. The only thing I had was my knife, that I could actually use as a close quarter weapon. So I was like, okay, I'm gonna hold on to my knife. And as I grabbed my knife, I looked at my knife, and it was one of those Rambo looking survival knife. It was huge too. Anyways, as I held it in my hand, it felt so small that I wish it was bigger. I had my radio too, and I'm like, oh man, I'm gonna call my dad, call my brothers, but I don't know, it's getting dark too. So I grabbed the radio. I'm like, okay, well, who cares, I want to try. So I grabbed the radio, and as I'm listening to this thing, I dropped my bow, because like there's no way now it's dark to the point where I can't shoot it anymore. So I like, all right, I grabbed my knife, grabbed my flashlight, grabbed my radio, and then I started calling for my dad. I go, Dad, you guys hear me? I started calling for my brother. I started calling for everybody, but no, they're not responding. And then yeah, I kept listening to it, and I kept watching the horizon, see if I could see my dad or my brother come, but there was no one there near to help me. My heart was racing. I held onto that knife real tight, and I was like, okay, I'm not letting myself go. If anything happens, this is gonna be me, the knife, and the bear. Yeah, I was scared. Honestly, that was the moment. I was really scared at that time. And this continued on for like a good 15-20 minutes, and it was pitch black. I couldn't see him. All I heard was him moving around and making all the noise, so I was scared. And then finally I heard my dad over the radio trying to get a hold of me, and I responded back saying, Dad, come pick me up, there's a bear here. After the whole ordeal, I realized that he didn't realize I was there until he caught wind of me on the other side of the ridge. And that's the reason why he was like sniffing up and down everywhere when he got level with me. And that's probably also why he got quiet, moving away until he popped out on my side, which caught me off guard. And when he was moving around and making all them noise behind me, I think it was him trying to size up or figure out who I am, or maybe that I'm in his territory and he's letting me know that I need to leave. I was prepared too. I mean, when I was watching the bear come up from the valley, I had control of it. It's like, oh yeah, I see the bear. I see it moving. I see it there. So it's like I had all the control in the world to like, all right, not be scared. But yeah, as soon as that bear rolled up on my side of the ridge where it popped out of nowhere, man, it's just like something washed me straight out. Like, oh man, I'm powerless. It's just a lesson learned. Like, okay, no matter what, no matter how prepared you are, you gotta have extra precaution and be a little extra on the edge. So if something like that comes up and spook you like that, you don't freak out.